Hello, my name is Amanda Rosette, and I'm here to watch Colton Rigsby's speech.
Hello, my name is Bethany Rosette, and I'm here to watch Colton Rigsby's speech.
Hello, my name is Brent Straley, and I'm here to watch Colton Rigsby's speech.
Hello, my name is Colton Rigsby, and I'm here to give a speech. These are my notes, as you see here, but I shall not keep them on the table. Okay, so introduction. This is a speech on the Siege of Orleans and Joan of Arc. She is come here by God's will to reclaim the blood royal. She is very ready to make peace if you are willing to grant her satisfaction by abandoning France and paying for what you have held. And you, archers, men at war, gentlemen and others, who are before the town of Orleans, go away into your own country, in God's name, and if you do not do so, expect tidings from the maid, who will come to see you shortly, to your very great harm. During this speech, we will be discussing the decisive moment in the 100 Years' War, which was a century-long conflict between the English and the French, and we will be discussing more explicitly the Siege of Orleans before Joan of Arc, with Joan of Arc, and after Joan of Arc. To begin with, the state of Orleans before Joan of Arc, as Polly Shore Brooks puts it in her book, Joan of Arc, Beyond the Myth, the city and even the English outside of it were in poor spirits, albeit the English were winning and were slowly circling around the city. Encyclopedia Britannica corresponds to this, saying that, the French were in decline and the English were growing with success, and it is written by them. Impressive siege works, including forts, were then undertaken. Weeks went by. A French attempt to cut off the besiegers' line of supply was defeated, and the defenders were considering capitulation. But hope was not at long last. It was not lost. You see, the Count of Dumois, who was also called the Bastard of Orleans, acted as the leader of the city during this time, and in his deposition, which was the rehabilitation trial of Joan of Arc in later years, and we'll discuss that later, in 1955, he states that rumors of a virgin riding were coming up, and that there was newfound hope, and that people felt as though their prayers were answered a few weeks before the arrival of Joan of Arc. Now, with Joan, how did France respond with Joan, and how did Joan handle it? Bow and Blade, which is a podcast, which was hosted by Kelly DeVries and Michael Livingston, stated that there were masses waiting for Joan of Arc in the city, and that people were waiting around her, and they thought they could be blessed simply by touching her horse. Kelly and Michael reinforced this by emphasizing that while Joan was asleep as she had arrived there in the evening, the French townspeople, not even the army outside the city, the French townspeople had gone out to a place nearby the English held, St. Luke Church, and had attempted to retake it, albeit they were failing. And Joan woke up in the middle of this and rode out, and seeing her caused them to restart the attack, and they eventually took the city. And the Count of Dumois summarizes her power by stating that neither I nor others, when we were with her, had ever an evil thought. There was something in her divine. It was truly astonishing, and in 3 days, she saw the English retreating, and she was watching peacefully and ordered the French not to chase them down and not to attack them as they left. And so now we transition to the aftermath. What happened in Orleans, and where did Joan go after this? And in her letter to the English, Joan dictates that, For you will not hold the kingdom of France, the King of Heaven, the Son of Saint Mary. For the true heir will hold it, as is revealed to him by the maid, who will enter Paris with a good company. Now this would hold true because after Orleans, Joan would go on to escort the king to his consecration, and he would become the king of France, and this would set France on a path to full liberation from the English. And the Count of Dumois also states that her true mission was only to truly stop the siege and to put Charles on the throne. And anything aside from this was her simply acting on her own will. And after she had done these two things that she had said she would do, she was eventually captured by the Burgundians, who were allied with the English, and would eventually be she would eventually be killed by the Burgundians, who were French but allied with the English. So they were still Catholic. That's why you often hear that the Catholic Church martyred her. And in 1455, on account of the Pope having received a letter from Joan's mother, actually, her case was reopened and she was declared innocent. And what happens afterwards, after all this and years coming, as stated by Polly, the aforementioned Polly, who wrote the book Joan of Arc and Beyond the Myth, says that there are now, throughout the centuries, candlelight processions that go throughout the city to the many battle sites and to places where she was. And to finalize, we have summarized each major step of the battle, and it is important to emphasize that there have been many battles and many heroes in history, but as Kelly DeVries states it, Joan is an anomaly, and there will never be another siege of Orleans, and there will never be another hero such as that of Joan, and she is a continuous inspiration for generations to come.